always know a trick that uses a deck of cards that you can just do. I could do something right now if you did have one. You know, it'd be so sick. If you did, do you?
Go on, show us a magic trick.
Okay. Oh, I wasn't expecting this. Okay, so.
Hello, business people of Earth, and welcome to NEBiznis, the podcast where we find out about the business people behind the business. My name is Rob Baines from RobCam Productions, and today there's a good chance that my guest today will have a few tricks up his sleeve, physically, not figuratively speaking. It is Tom Cocker
Hello.
from Tricksy Tom.
Hello,
welcome
how are you?
to the show.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
I'm very well, thank you. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, busy. Nice to be here. Nice to talk about what I do, and yeah, hopefully maybe even get more people into magic. That'd be cool.
More people. That's the aim, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
The aim. Okay, we know each other personally, don't we? We've well, actually, it wasn't that recently that we properly started like connecting.
No,
wasn't
it was our mutual friend Ashley's stag do, pretty much.
Yeah, but it's stag do.
Yeah, April, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Went to London for 3 days?
Yeah.
Over a weekend, basically.
Over a weekend, yeah.
And yeah, we just instantly formed a good friendship connection, and
There was a northern bond, wasn't
yeah,
there?
that must be. I think that's probably where it's come from. Yeah.
A northern bond. And we sort of found out about each other, what each other did. Tom's interesting. Tom's a magician. He's a performer. I want to find out more about that. And I want to obviously show off you to the rest of the universe.
Why not? Let's go for the
I was going to go
universe.
say universe.
To the rest of Darlington.
The rest of Darlington.
The universe.
No, the rest of the universe. Let's go big. Let's go big or go home.
Exactly,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
So, right, I'm going to start off. What is your origin story? How did you get to do what you're doing today?
Okay, so I'm going to go back before I even went to the entertainment kind of section of my life.
Go for it. Absolutely, go for it.
I'll start with the education. So obviously I did school, didn't really know what I wanted to do after I got my GCSEs. So I went around college looking at different courses that you could do, and there was only one that really struck out to me, which was film and TV, or film and media as it was at college.
I thought you were going to say the magic course at my...
Oh, if only there was a magic course at uni or college, that'd be brilliant. Maybe one day, I think you never know.
You never know.
But yeah, so went around looking at courses, and film and media at college was the only one that kind of stood out to me, you know, because I'd always enjoyed watching telly and wondered how it was made. So ended up doing that, either 3 or 4 years at college doing film and media, graduated there. I don't know if graduate is the right word for college, but finished the course.
It is now. You can graduate from you can graduate from primary school nowadays.
Oh, well, there you go then. So I graduated from college with enough marks to get into one of the unis that I wanted to go to, which was Bournemouth University, because when I was at college, the main big one, you know, for most successful people that got into the industry after was Bournemouth University doing television production. So 3 years, I think it was there. And then I did... Along my time doing work experience at uni, I had to do 1 or 2 work experience placements. I ended up working for a children's TV company in London for a week or 2. And then I graduated uni and thought, well, I know I want to work in kids' TV, because that's, even from college, is where I knew I wanted to kind of work, you know, children's television, because that's what I enjoyed watching when I was a kid, obviously.
And still to this day.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah. You know, bring back Sarah Jane Adventures or something like that. I loved it. So yeah, I did that, and then luckily managed to get a place at the company that I did work experience for when I was at uni in London.
Fantastic.
Just in like the office. Got to my 3 months probation, and I realised it wasn't really what I was hoping for, because I wanted to be more on set, like doing the filming and, you know, on the shoots, which they couldn't really offer me. And at that point, I thought, life's too short, you know, what have I always wanted to do? And when I was a kid, I always went to the holiday parks, and I always wanted to be a holiday park entertainer. So I thought, let's just go for it. So I Googled a couple of holiday parks one that I went to as a kid all the time, which was John Fowler Holiday Parks, and then one that I'd just known of as well called Park Dean Resorts. So I applied for both of those, and I heard back from Park Dean. Only, I think, like either a few days or a week after I initially applied online, invited me to an audition day. So I thought,
fantastic.
Perfect. I'd never done like any kind of audition before. I thought, let's just go for it. So I went along to this Park Dean one, and it was like your standard kind of like team building audition where I played a few games with the other people that were auditioning to see how you get on. You had to do like, I think from what I remember, a 2-minute presentation of something, whether it be like a mini game or a pitch of something. I can't remember what I did, to be fair, at the time. And then, so it was just like 2 or 3 hours just getting to know other people that were auditioning and showcasing your personality, in front of an audience and stuff, those that were there and the staff that were there that were looking to hire.
Yeah.
And then literally, I think it was like the day after the audition, I got an email saying I've been accepted for a place as a host at one of the parks that they'll end up choosing for me.
Right, okay.
So I thought, brilliant, that's it then. So I left that company with the kids' TV industry in London and then went on to Part D like a few weeks after and then loved it. I went to a training session. I think the training session was in February. So at the time of leaving the job in London, it was like a few months in terms of preparing and stuff. So I ended up going down to Skegness, which is where their training session was.
Okay.
And then I met my team that I began to work with on the first holiday park for that year, which was Warnwell, which is near Bournemouth, funnily enough. Not just a bit further along the coast towards Weymouth kind of area. In Dorset. I did 2 years at Warnwell and then I did 2 years at another park for Part D called Kesselin Beach and then the final year at Cherry Tree. So I did 5 years as a host. And in those 5 years, my first year at Warnwell, when I started, everyone else on my team had a cabaret set, whether it be singing or dancing. And I was just a host because I can't sing professionally. If I dance, I just flail my arms around it. I don't look professional. But you did the party dances and stuff when you did the job.
So you're sort of looking for your thing.
What I could add to the team to contribute, as a cabaret set. I didn't have to because I was contracted as just a host, but I just wanted to add something. And I'd always been interested in magic. And I had a friend, luckily, that was on BGT. I think he was on 2014 season. But he did ventriloquism that year because he had too many magicians that year. So, but he'd mainly always done magic. So I spoke to Sam, which is his name, and I said, look, I'm interested in starting up a magic show for, 45-minute magic show for the cabaret set once a week. Where can I start? How can I get into magic and develop? And then because he'd done it since he was like 4 years old or even younger probably, he just got me started on places to buy tricks, good beginner ones for stage. And it's just, ever since developed over those 5 and now 8 years working in holiday parks. In total, 5 years as a host, but doing it as a cabaret set, the magic. And then 3 years since going solo with it all because it got to the end of my last year at the parks as a host and I knew that I just wanted to do the magic full time, as a touring live act. We had other magicians that came and they were just doing it as I do now, just doing the magic show, not having to do anything else in, the daytime at the park or any of the other evening activities. And magic, it was, to be honest, the only thing I ended up loving to do at the end of the day for the holiday parks. So just ended up biting the bullet, going solo with it all, got myself an agent and here we are now.
Amazing. That sounds like an amazing journey. I didn't realise that was the sort of route into it.
I mean, there's no right or wrong route. People just don't have to do a holiday park to be a magician, but it does help to have that experience and get the contacts, to be fair, as well.
Yeah, but it's good that you've sort of you've worked through like a few different career paths to find out what you're most passionate about. That's awesome. Brilliant. Where did the inspirations lie for getting into magic? Have you got a certain inspiration? Or
to be fair, before I got into magic myself, I always watched people like Darren Brown on TV, big names, Darren Brown, Dynamo, them kind of people. And to be honest, I've always said and I always will, Darren Brown is my inspiration for the kind of magic that I do. I do magic for the holiday parks, which is family orientated. So I do tricks, involving the kid halfway through. But I'd say the core premise on the theme of my show, because I try and always start it with a theme and then the show with coming back full narrative, whether it be like a story or a recurring thing that comes back at the end. Try and use inspiration from Darren Brown and his style of performing and the way he structures a show, basically. Obviously, you've got all the big names like Dynamo, as I mentioned, Penn and Teller. Anything that's magic on TV, I'll watch and gain inspiration where I can for ideas for my shows, Obviously not copying them, but...
Just nab that.
Exactly. And that's the great thing about magic.
You can sort of remix it.
You can do the same tricks that everyone does, but you can put your own personality in it, your own character. People always say, people won't remember how good your tricks were. They'll remember how you made them feel.
Experience.
Exactly. And that's so important in magic. You don't want to be on stage. You could be the best card magician in the world and have the best sleight of hand. But if you're performing like this...
if there's no personality there, there's
no one's going to be
character.
interested. Exactly. You've got to have something to draw them in. And that usually comes from your personality.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Rather than your skill, to be honest.
Well,
the skill just adds.
That's the tricks are the tools, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
That sort of thing. Yeah. Oh, brilliant. What is the best performance magic trick or performance you've seen that sort of wowed you?
I mean, to be honest, I'll come back to Darren again.
Yeah.
When I've gone to see any of his live shows, anything like that, because he's got an amazing team behind him as well that helps him come up with the tricks and scripts the show. He's just the showman, basically.
Yeah.
Anything live on stage that I can see and draw inspiration from is what I just tend to find the most drawing and interesting thing. I've been lucky enough to be on stage with Darren a couple of times in his shows, and that always, makes you think, wow, I'm on stage with such a famous magician or icon.
Yeah.
That could be me one day, doing the theatre tours maybe. You never know. I'm quite happy as I am with the holiday parks for now, but yeah, you never know what the future lies. But yeah, I can't really pinpoint an exact moment that made me think, wow, that's amazing. I'm going to do this for the rest of my life, because I just love all magic. There's so many different varieties out there. It's hard to really pinpoint one, but to be honest, anything that I see live that I can see myself in that person performing that back to an audience, so that's where I get the most inspiration from, to be fair.
Can you remember the first trick you've ever taught yourself?
It was, to be honest, it would have been the trick that my friend Sam that I mentioned showed me that got me into magic. To be honest, I'm trying to think if he showed me that before I wanted to do a magic show at the holiday parks, because I got to know him at uni when I was wanting to get into ventriloquism at the time, because that's what he did on BGT. But the first thing that astounded me, to be honest, this is probably the one that you just mentioned, go back to your last question, if I had to pick a trick that made me go, what the hell, Sam, he had I can't remember, it was like a £5 or a £10 note, and he rubbed his hands like this, building static.
Yeah.
And he'd take the note, and then he'd just let go, and the note would just be suspended in the air.
Right, okay.
And it'd rise up as well, and then he'd catch it, and he could do it over and over again. And I could not figure out for the life of me how it was done. And eventually he was like, do you want to know? And I was like, well, I do, but I don't, because that's the thing with magic. When you know how a trick's done, you sometimes think, oh, is that it? Is that it? So it's better to not know in magic. It really is, unless you've really got a passion for it.
So when you're watching like a performance or something, are you quite like analytical? Are you trying to?
I am these days. If I'm watching something on telly or someone else doing a magic show on stage, I have a good idea of how the trick's achieved.
Right.
But it still doesn't stop me from enjoying the performance, because as you said earlier, the performer themselves that makes it entertaining, with personality. It's how they present that trick. But yeah, going back to your question, the first trick that made me actually go, wow, that's amazing, is just a £10 note just floating in midair until he caught it again.
Yeah.
And so I caved in eventually. I says, okay, tell me how it's done.
I need to know. Too
but
many sleepless nights.
Yeah, but to be fair, if I hadn't have asked him to show me, I probably wouldn't be where I am now. I'd probably not have gotten into magic. It was the method that astounded me, even though I said, oh, is that it? Like, it's still, to a layperson, you got to when you're a magician, you've got to put yourself back into the shoes of the layperson. And I have to always, when I do a trick now, I think, how did that make me feel the first time I saw it? Even as a magician, especially if I don't know the method, which is always a bonus at the time. How did that make me feel? And when you just know that's how someone's reacted when they've seen that trick, you just want to learn it. And so he taught me that trick and how it's done. Actually, I might be able to do that trick that I just mentioned now if you want.
Okay.
Have you got anything on you? Something kind of flat?
Well, I've got any business card.
Perfect. That'll do. Okay. So, like I said, I'll put this in my mouth. I'm going to rub my hands together so we can get a bit of static going. So this is how my friend showed me how this was done. Well, he didn't show me how it was done at the time, but this is what got me into magic, basically.
Yeah.
So, it all goes with static. So I'll do this and rub my hands. Okay, we'll take your card like this. You ready?
Yeah.
If I focus, hopefully, we can just make the card flow.
Oh my God.
Just like that. You can hand that out. It can be any borrowed object.
That's amazing. That's really cool.
Hopefully the camera caught that all right.
Yeah,
I don't know if the mic blocked it, but that's what. Yeah.
Amazing. That's cool. That's awesome. I can understand that. It's just such a simple thing, but it's like just getting that reaction as you say. It's amazing. Thank you very much, Tricksy Tom.
Free magic show.
What would you say, as a performer, what challenges have you faced over the years being a magician? Or just in general, like performing, hosting, magician sort of thing. What challenges have you faced?
I mean, when you do it for long enough, any mistakes you make are already challenges that you come across. You just start to, with experience, get used to and know how to solve them. Obviously, touring the holiday parks, which is what I mainly do, that's kind of like the biggest challenge in terms of every venue is set up differently sometimes with their sound equipment and, you know, their DJ desk. So if I've got to plug into their system, which I always do because they've got the best speakers obviously in the venue rather than what I'd be able to just plug in. Sometimes you get interference if like their microphone receivers are on the same frequency as yours. And I've had a couple of times where when I first started doing magic, I didn't have my own professional head mic. So I used one of their handheld ones and I had this coat hanger thing that went around my neck, and I've still got it now for backups. And you'd fit the mic in here like this, and you'd be talking down like this, you know what I mean? Because it weren't directional enough, and it just made it so hard doing the magic and the moves.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you need your hands free, and if especially if you've worked out a certain trick that's very hands-on. Yeah. You don't want to be juggling a microphone as well as doing
exactly.
that.
And, you know, 9 out of the 10 parks I go to, the team are brilliant and they know what they're doing with the sound desk, but you do get the odd ones sometimes where they don't care because you see it's 45 minutes off work. So sometimes there was an experience the other week near Blackpool. I'm not saying too much because it weren't a partying park, so I'm not really going to give anyone away. But yeah, I was at a certain holiday park and I was halfway through my show and the music was so quiet. It started off at the right level, and then it just went quiet. So I don't know if whoever was in the box turned it down because they thought it was too loud or whatever. And then I turned around to ask for the music to be turned up a bit because they couldn't hear it out there. I know they couldn't because I couldn't hear it from the stage. And I was like, "Oh, can we have the music up, please?" And I looked, and there was no one there. I was like,
just left it going.
What can I do?
I'll just do a bit of mixing myself.
Exactly, but I couldn't do that because halfway through a trick or the script, because a lot of my tricks are timed to music as well, so I have to be able to hear it, And I looked, there's no one there, and I just kept looking, and I said, "Can we turn the music up?" And she kept coming, and she kept. Well, there you go. So it was a lady. She kept coming, and she kept going. I was like, "Oh, for God's sake!" And even though I'd asked, she'd not hear, and I'd just see her when she was sat there, head down like this. I'm like, she's on her phone, and that's an experience. That's a challenge. Just having the entertainment team. I don't want to sound like I'm being diva-ish, you know what I mean? But just having someone there to solve the tech. If you're in a proper theatre, you'd have a specialised...
It's their role, isn't it?
So exactly. You'd have a specialised tech team in a theatre, so you wouldn't have that problem. But with holiday parks, I don't know what it is. Sometimes you just get the odd one that's just doesn't really care or want to know because it's 45 minutes of them not having to do anything.
But in that sort of situation, you sort of have to, I suppose, just adapt and
like an
make
Olympics,
the most of
crack on with it. Because what I do now, because when these experiences happened in the past, I've had to ask the person in the box, "Oh, could we play the next track, please? Could we play the next track, please?" Which is what most magicians do, to be fair. It just takes away from the show, Again, if you're doing the script or the trick.
If you're sort of escapism, and as you say, there's like a narrative, having a bit of a technical thing or the flow goes a little bit.
Exactly.
And so if you can avoid that as much as possible, then...
Yeah, and that's what I did. So I bought this piece of tech that came out, I think, only in the last year or two, called Solo Studio. Buy it. It's brilliant.
Sponsor.
Cheeky plug. It's by a guy called Sam Fitton, and it's a little box, tiny little black box that sits in your top pocket or wherever you want on your person, really. And then it uses RFID technology, just like contactless cards.
All right.
So you can get buttons, stickers, and you just stick them on your props, scan it up to the box, and that'll scan to your phone wirelessly that's plugged into the DJ box and play the music for you. So you'd have to say, "Oh, can we hit the next track?" And it's just seamless.
It's
amazing.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's helped a lot overcome that challenge of not having someone in the DJ box if needed. Or if you have got a solo show and you don't have a tech team, you can just do it all yourself.
You've got more control over it.
Exactly, which is brilliant.
Obviously, you don't want to make you too much work for yourself, but as you say, it's avoiding those little mishaps and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You can avoid them. Then that sounds like a good bit of tech to have.
Yeah, so that's like a tech issue that I've overcome. And in terms of performing, I suppose just learning when to take a trick out if it's not for you. People often ask me, "Have you ever had a trick go wrong?" And this is the biggest challenge you can face a magician, a trick going wrong on stage, which is what I always say. People don't come to see the magic. They come to see the magic goes wrong. If a trick goes wrong, that's what they're looking for. So where you can learn to not have that happen, the better, to be fair.
Is there a certain amount of times you rehearse something before you feel, "I'm confident enough that this is fail-proof,"
Yeah, and it's always a good idea as a magician, always have a backup plan. If a trick's going to go wrong, have another way out of it and make it look like it's part of the thing as well. So there's a couple of tricks in my show now where it could go wrong, and 9 out of 10 times it doesn't. One time that it might do, I've got something that I can use to still make the trick happen and the audience be none the wiser. When I started out on my first year at the holiday parks, when I was getting into magic, obviously more mistakes are going to happen. And there's always one story I go to where I had a trick where, the party trick where you'd have a cup with water in, you put a beer mat on it, you turn it upside down, and then let go the beer mat and then the water and the beer mat would still stick, defy gravity.
Yeah.
Well, the magic trick goes one step further where you can remove the beer mat and the water is just still suspended in the glass with nothing there, protecting it. I learned that trick, rehearsed it over and over again in the accommodation that I was at the holiday park, and it was going fine. Got to the night of me putting it into the show, my first year doing magic, probably only like a few months into starting, the magic journey.
Yeah.
And it was a thing where I got a kid on stage and I'd do the whole presentation about the beer mat. Is anyone doing that science trick where you put the beer mat on the glass? And, well, as a magician, you could take it one step further. And I had to remove the beer mat. The water would start seeping on top of this kid's head. I was like, oh, the trick isn't doing what it needs to do.
Yeah.
And I was like...
Think on your feet a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't. It was like I either remove the beer mat and just soak the child or... just be honest to the audience, say, it's live entertainment. I don't think it's going to work. We'll give her a big round of applause. And this the kid was already just soaking and shivering. Oh, I feel so bad. And at this point, because it's my first year doing magic, I didn't have a professional table like I do now, like a roll-on table and stuff. I just worked out of little flight cases and a fold-up table with a tablecloth on. Yeah. So this kid sat dripping and shivering, and I decided to put that trick away. I said, we'll move on from that. We'll give it a round of applause. And at that point, because I didn't have a professional table, I just had a tea towel over this fold-up table that I used to use. So I just gave her the tea towel. She says, thank you so much. Sent her back down. And I thought, right, I need to get that right. Because I know what went wrong. I need to practice it again and make sure it doesn't happen next week. But I'll give it another chance. Practice it that week. Everything fine in the lodge again.
The people at the holiday park will be thinking, I like what you did last week the best. That was hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, some people would have got a laugh out of it. Yeah, and that's the good thing is, again, as a magician, as an out, make it look like that was meant to happen.
Yes.
And we're like, oh, well,
but sometimes that's not the case.
Exactly. So practice it again all that week. Put it in for the second week. The exact same thing happened again. And
all right, okay.
Yeah, I don't know, it was like the nerves because of what happened the week before or the lighting on stage where I couldn't see what I needed to do correctly. And it was starting to drip again. And I thought, no, kill it, it's going to happen again. Yeah. So I took the glass away, and luckily the kid didn't get as wet this time because I knew what I was looking for. Yeah. But it was still a couple of drops, and I knew the thing wasn't going to do what it needed to do. So at that point, sometimes a magician, there's a phrase, say, kill your babies, which is, gruesome as it sounds. If you love a trick and you think it's going to be the best thing since sliced bread for your stage show or close up, trick, whatever you do, but it isn't working, whether that be the audience reaction or the trick just isn't doing what it needs to do. Yeah. Just take it out and replace it with something else because sometimes your show's not going to develop unless you just replace it or try something new. No. So I think it was just a sign for me not to do that trick in my stage show. Whether I tried it again now and it'd be a different story, I don't know if it'd work, but because it does work.
We're not trying that one now.
No, actually, you're wrong.
You get Fanta on me.
Yeah. No, it's a great trick. It just wasn't to be for me on stage. It seems for whatever,
Learn from mistakes.
The universe
I think
gave me the reason for.
Yeah, the universe again.
There you go.
Bringing back to the universe.
Exactly.
With that then, do you find, because you obviously do the holiday parks and stuff, but you do a lot of other different types of events as well, don't you? Do you find you have to adapt a performance depending on the audience? Yes,
for sure. So as well as doing the holiday park stage shows, the other main kind of area of magic that I do is children's magic. So, I do children's birthday parties or any kind of party, but 9 out of 10 times it's a birthday party that I get booked for. Yeah. When I do a kid's birthday party, I do a half-an-hour magic show, which is way different to the magic show that I do at the holiday parks because the holiday park one, I say, is always more orientated in terms of scripting and some of the tricks for adults. Yeah. But I always get a kid halfway through the family show as well at the holiday parks, just so it is included for everybody. Yeah. And to be fair, the kids still love the show just as much as the adults when I do it at the holiday parks. Again, whether it's the way I perform, I don't know. Or the tricks, I don't know. But yeah, for the kids' magic show at the parties, it's so different. It's all like big, colourful props that's easy to follow the premise of for the trick.
Attention spans are difficult. For children. Yeah. That's what
children are the hardest performance criteria that you can perform for because if you're rubbish, they will let you know. Excuse me. If they're rubbish, get a bit tearful. If you're rubbish, they will let you know. Or if they think they know how one of your tricks is done, they will say, you've got a or whatever, And to be honest, they're not usually wrong. They're correct. It's amazing how much children know. And I don't know if that's, well, I pretty much do know it's because of online like YouTube and TikTok. Yeah. So much magic is exposed now, which is such a bad thing for magicians. A fair bit of exposure is fine because it's how people get into magic. You've got
Of
to
course.
see how a trick's done to be like, oh, that's really cool, and get you into magic. But there's ways of exposing tricks. So if someone's just doing the trick to camera and then flashing the method or the gimmick or whatever's used to help it work, that's where it goes wrong. And kids aren't stupid. They'll watch these things, and then if they see it in your show, they'll be like, oh, that you've got whatever it is might be the case.
I've seen quite a few examples on like TikTok and stuff where you have a performer and then you have that. I don't know if you've seen like that person who's just
in the background,
but in the background that just blatantly shows off the thing.
And they're the kind of videos that are the issue. In terms of characterization, when I'm doing a kids party, I am way more wacky and energetic and crazy than I am doing my holiday park show. When I'm doing a show on the holiday parks, I don't speak like this like I am to you now. I'm way more like this and, more excited.
Just the overemphasized version.
Exactly. But a kid, when I'm at a kid's party, I'm just a kid as well, And I think, I've always been youthful, I think, in my personality anyway, so I can feed on that at the parties, which is great. Yeah. So, I just act like a big kid, really, and do what they do and, fall to the floor and act crazy and
throw a tantrum,
Yeah, exactly. If the kids are misbehaving, Nah, to be fair, if a kid's misbehaving, because when I first started doing kids parties, if a kid was misbehaving, turned a blind eye. If they were running around for the magic show or any part of the party, because I do games as well and party dancers for a kids party rather than just the magic as well. But when I first started, only 2-3 years ago doing the kids parties, and they were running around or some weren't paying attention, I just ignored them and hoped they'd shut up and sit down at some point and just focus on the kids that were interested. Yeah. Whereas now, whether it be the magic show or party dancers or the party games, if a kid's misbehaving, I'll break character. And I was always so scared to do it because I didn't want the kids to think I was mean or nasty or horrible. But you've got to, like a school, a teacher would shout at a kid, So everyone's running around now. So no, can we not do that because we can't enjoy the show? Come and sit down, please. It does help. It makes a difference because they think, oh, he isn't just a big kid like us. He can be in charge if he needs to be. So sometimes as a kid's entertainer, I think you've got to know the boundary and know the barrier of where you can break character just to get them back on your side. And I've never had a problem since I started just breaking character for a second just to calm a kid down if they were misbehaving or going a bit too energetic. I tend not to do it because I don't want to be the party pooper, you know what I mean? It just comes with experience as an entertainer, just knowing where to kind of stop for a second and ask the kids to calm down.
Good stuff.
It's usually only about one. You get the one little darling. We call them elves in the industry.
Oh, right, okay.
Evil little... Ooh. You can get the idea. Flipper. So little elf. You get the one little one sometimes. But 9 out of 10 times though, again, at parties, they're usually all fine. Yeah. But
it's another challenge. Another part of a challenger part of the job.
But I suppose that's just working with people, isn't it? In any kind of industry, you always get the one, you can always get the one that's just a bit moaning, complaining, or which they might have the right to be, in the situation.
I guess like almost fighting for attention, isn't it? Like sort of this person got the focus, but I want to be this.
Exactly, especially in terms of children, But it's just dealing with public, isn't it? Just knowing what to say and when to say it sometimes, not just in entertainment, any industry or business.
Totally. What? I'll go back there. What is the most gratifying thing about what you do?
It's a cliche answer, but seeing the audience's reactions to your tricks, if they give a massive "what the hell" reaction, it's just satisfying. I don't know what it is, how you can explain it. It's just knowing that you've given someone that feeling of wonder and amazement, to be fair, and how could he have possibly done that? Yeah. It's just
sort of feed off that a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. It's just self-gratifying in a way. Just make people smile. How many people can say, my job is to make people smile and make them amazed. So that's probably just the short and sweet answer to that
that's
one.
A great answer to that.
The most gratifying thing of doing it is just, entertaining other people. Yeah. And seeing their reactions.
Just making people happy and seeing what you're doing is working and put a smile on people's face.
Exactly. Who doesn't like to smile?
Right, okay, so you recently ticked off a box that you wanted to tick off for quite a long time. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so For the last few years, when I've done a close-up gig, whether it be a wedding or a party or any kind of event that I'm booked for, people would say, "Oh, are you in the Magic Circle?" And I'd always say, "No, maybe one day," because I heard opinions on the Magic Circle and different experiences, and I've always just shied away from it because I know the headquarters is in London, which isn't near where I live.
Yeah.
But I thought last year it came to New Year's Eve, and I thought, all right, I want to do a New Year's resolution this year. What can I do that'll be a personal achievement that's only going to benefit me, really? And I thought, right, let's go for it. 2025, I'm going to try and join the Magic Circle.
Yeah.
Again, a bit like the holiday box, I filled out an application form on the Magic Circle website. Simple questions. How did you get into magic and stuff? I got invited for a Zoom interview, which is how they conduct most of their interviews.
Yeah.
So I went on Zoom with the secretary for the Magic Circle, the examination secretary. And it was about a 45-minute interview, expanding on the questions asked in the application form. How did you get into magic? What kind of magic do you usually perform? Those kind of questions. And then at the end of the interview, you had to perform a couple of tricks to the camera for your interviewer.
Yeah.
Did a couple of tricks. Yeah, found out, I think, a month after. Not even that, probably a few weeks.
Longest month of your life.
Yeah. It might have even just been a week or two. I can't remember. That I'd been invited for the final part of the application process.
All right, yeah.
Which is to do your practical exam at the headquarters of the Magic Circle in London. You had to perform an 8 to 12 minute routine. It could be stage magic, which is what I'm usually doing, close-up magic, which is what I think, to be honest, the majority of magicians would say they do, which is close-up magic. Yeah. Which I don't know if it did, but I feel it gave me an advantage on the night of the exam. I'll tell you why in a second. But yeah, so you had to do an 8 to 12 minute piece of magic. It could be multiple tricks. It could be one drawn-out trick, whatever you want. But you have like guidelines on the website that you can follow to get points. So you have 3 examiners in the room of the night on the front row. So you have like 3 rows of chairs and then anyone else standing in the back if they ran out of seats. Yeah. On the front row, on the left, you had one of the examiners, you had one in the middle, and then one on the right of the front row. And they had that mark sheet to mark against.
No red buzzers or anything. Just,
nothing like Got Talent. Got there at 5 o'clock on the day of the exam. I had a few months to prepare for the exam because I found out after my interview in February, I think it was, or January, that I'd passed the interview. And they said, okay, you've got a year to do your exam, or you can do it twice in a year in case you fail your first time.
Right, okay.
So I passed my interview and I thought, right, I looked at my date sheet of when I had shows for this year. And I thought, okay, I've got a gap here. Let's go for, I can't remember what it was, something like the 11th of August was my exam date. So I said, I'll go for the 11th of August, please. So I was booked in. So I had all that time from February to August to prepare for my exam and decide what tricks I wanted to do and how to make them flow, like in my stage show. Yeah. So I kind of just started working on ideas. And in the end, I ended up doing a trick that had only come out only about 4 or 5 months ago. So only like at the time, a couple of months before my exam was due. Okay. But I saw it on the trailer because when a magic product gets released, it usually gets a trailer alongside it, a bit like a show or a film you see to buy you into it and wanting to see it, or in this case perform it. So I watched the trailer, I thought that'd be perfect for the opener of this because it's quick, snappy, it's about a minute to a minute and a half in length. I can adapt it to make it original in terms of script rather than following the performance that they give you on the the trick that you buy. Yeah. So I learned that and I had loads of issues with that at the beginning, to be fair, because it required, but be careful what I say here, it required a bit of sleight of hand. And I was struggling with the sleight of hand element. Luckily, the trick had a bit before it, which had another same element of sleight of hand, but it was a bit easier to do. Right. So I took off the bit, which was the big kicker finale. Basically, I'll tell you what the trick is. It was basically, them old wooden blow toys when you had as a kid, and it was like a wooden tube, a little thing and a ball, a polystyrene ball.
Yes,
and you'd blow it, and the ball would float, like a Malteser that you do as well.
Yeah.
It was one of those, but you'd be blowing the polystyrene ball, and then you talk to the audience, and the next thing you know, you drop the ball, and it was a big lead-heavy ball, like a really big, same size, same colour polystyrene ball, but all of a sudden it was heavy, and it fell to the floor with a big bang. So I was like, well, how could he have been blowing that through a little tube, because it's so heavy. Yeah. So that was the trick. And then the kicker was you could then pick the ball up, smash it on a glass or whatever, and it was actually an egg. All along.
All right, okay.
But it was the part with the egg that was not working for me personally in terms of potentially flashing something or anything like that. So I decided to take the egg bit out and just do the polystyrene ball suddenly turning into a lead ball and hitting the ground. Yeah. And to be fair, when I did it on the night, because that bit was fine because I practiced that and it was fine. I did it on the night and I think it was kind of a trick that flew under the radar because when the ball hit the ground, it was a room full of magicians because you do it in front of a room full of other people that are already in the circle that are there wanting you to do well and be part of their club. Yeah. When it dropped, they went, "Ooh!" Like no one seems to have known this trick existed. So I think that helped in a way. So yeah, that's how I started. That was about a minute and a minute and a half, and I started that trick with the script about being a child and using your imagination.
Yeah.
So I say in the script, I used to imagine this ball was the moon floating high above the earth, like this. And then I do the example.
Yeah.
And then from there, I did the rest of my exam piece around the themes of imagination and connection, connecting as a child and that kind of thing. So the following 2 tricks, I won't go into those because we'll run over, but it just followed the themes of imagination and connection, which was one of the marking criteria, make your tricks flow. And have a story and a reason for those tricks to be in your piece, I think my routine ended up being about 10 minutes in length on the night, which was perfect, between 8 and 12 minutes as was required. There was 3 other magicians that night auditioning to be part of the circle as well, and they all did close-up, which is what I said earlier. I think doing my stage show kind of presentation set me apart. It made me stand out. Yeah. Because I used my solo thing so I could cue my music. No other magician used music because they were just close up at the table with someone sat next to them. Yeah. Whereas I was just stood up. I didn't sit down. I was stood up. It was just more engaging, I think, than just doing close-up at a table. Not to fault close-up magicians. They're amazing and each to their own, but close-up isn't what I would say I specialise in. Out of all the kinds of magic, I say stage magic is what I'm, best at. But so the other guys did close up and they were brilliant as well, to be fair. Their tricks are great. I know one of the other guys passed that night. You don't find out on the night. Again, you have to wait like a month every month because
keep the suspense a little bit.
Well, yeah, it does. And the council at the Magic Circle only meet once a month. Because they film the auditions a bit like this, they film everyone's audition and then the judges mark what they think and then they deliberate with the council the following month when they watch the footage back and decide whether they agree with the judges' marks or not and why. And then that's how you find out whether you got into the circle or not.
Gotcha.
And so I was waiting. I think I was lucky. I got 3 weeks instead of a month to wait. I was just driving from one gig to another. Got an email pop up on my inbox when I was driving. My car was on the holster. So I wasn't like this, just in case any police are watching. It flashed up.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, it flashed up. It said the Magic Circle, and also was congratulations. We're pleased to say, and then whatever the rest of the email said when you fully opened it later on when I pulled over.
You pulled over to react and do your little happy dance.
Yeah, literally. So I knew I'd passed. So I was over the moon. So I got in first time. But I know the other guy that I mentioned got in as well. The other 2 that did close up, I don't know. I still don't know to this day if they got in or not. If I ever see them at the club, then I'll know. But so it was just a kind of personal achievement that New Year's resolution to try and go for.
You achieved it. That's brilliant. The thing is, it's interesting because, as you said at the very beginning of that answer, people are aware of it. It's not just a thing that just the magicians know about. Everyone knows about it. Everyone knows. The Magic Circle. Obviously, you got asked about it. I suppose it's a bit of credibility increaser, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the biggest magic society in the world, I would say, in terms of how many people know about it. Like those in America, they can do their exam online. Obviously, you can't expect them to fly over to London to do their exam piece. So there are other ways of getting in. You can do a video performance in front of a live audience that's not edited, stuff like that. Yeah. Like you say, most people know about the Magic Circle, and now I can say, I am. Here's my card. Yeah. And it's only going to add to your reputation,
Absolutely. And it's like a thing you can sort of say if you wanted to do bigger events or whatnot, you could just say, this is this and this. It just adds to...
exactly,
Okay, well, you must be very good if you're... It's that sort of attitude, isn't it?
Yeah, it just shows you're at a certain standard, to be fair. You put on your business cards now and on your website, your social media. And literally just the other day, I just before we started this podcast, I mentioned that I was editing a new holding screen. And originally, my holding screen from a holiday park shows. Holding screen is like the big screens behind you if you're performing, or on the TVs at the side of the stage. It usually just say the title of the show, Tricksy Tom Magician, and then Facebook, Instagram, TikTok logos, and then at Tricksy Tom Magician.
Sets your scene, shows off your brand.
Exactly. Whereas now I've just added the Magic Circle logo, and underneath Tricksy Tom Magician, I put member of the Magic Circle. Because I thought, why not?
Why not? Absolutely.
Flaunt it. It's only going to make people think, is it a decent standard? Because holiday parks are I can't really say for definite, but in my experience, are the hardest audience to perform for. Yeah. Because you'll do one show one night, and they sat quiet. Like last night, I was up in Scotland, and it was the first night I put the holding screen up that said "Member of the Magic Circle," and I don't know if that had anything to do with it because he might have seen that and gone, "Oh, he might be quite good. Let's watch."
Yeah.
And, the room was so quiet, and everyone was watching, and that's the perfect kind of audience you can have for a magic show. Sat watching, engaged. But then you go to another holiday park the day after, and it's a larger venue, and them at the back aren't really that interested in there, just wanting to drink and talk.
Yeah.
So you're having to fight over the noise. You've got the first few rows in the holiday park that are interested and engaged. It's a lottery what kind of audience you're going to get. They're always a good audience.
Hecklers and...
Yeah, in my experience, I've never really had any hecklers. And if I have, it's only just been like...
It's sort of more towards like comedy performances, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Trying to be the funnier person.
Yeah. Or I'll tend to have an audience member on stage with
Kind
me.
of the more magic person.
yeah.
That's nothing I've got.
Exactly, yeah. So no, I usually have someone on stage with me throughout my stage show because I feel the best kind of magic is the magic that happens in the hands of the spectator. If they can do the magic, that's the best. And that's what I kind of specialize in with my stage shows.
Yeah.
Everything that happens on stage, they do, not me. I'm just the communication vessel, basically. Yeah. But sometimes if, I get someone's family member up, they'll shout something, aimed at them or me. And again, with experience, you just feed off it. You have a little joke about it. And, you just feed off whatever they say, whatever it might be.
Totally, yeah.
But yeah, in my experience, I don't really get hecklers so much. It's just fighting over the noise of the audience. For those that aren't really that interested in it. But you never really have a bad audience. Or in my experience, I've never had a bad audience. And I hope that kind of says something about me and my performing style and, how engaging I am.
Probably if you had someone who didn't have the passion or the energy that you had, maybe they might struggle and that sort of might fall. But I think if you're presenting as much energy as, whenever I've talked to you or whenever we've sort of done stuff together, there's not a lot to compete with there. And I think people are going to be glued to that performance.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So before I move on to the final few questions, when you tell people that you're a magician, how do you respond when someone inevitably follows up that with, "Go on then, show me a trick"?
Show us a trick, yeah. And so there's magic that it's always great to have something on you. The trick that I showed you with the business card earlier, I could perform that any moment, any time.
Yeah.
There's tricks that the best tricks you can use for when someone says, "Oh, show me a trick," is using an object of theirs, like a business card or a banknote, or just something that looks natural, like a key or glasses.
Something they can connect to.
Yeah, exactly.
This isn't like a tampered sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's just
something everybody
it's more believable,
has.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So I always try and keep 1 or 2 or 3 things on me that I could just pull out. That's just natural. Yeah. Or even if it isn't natural, as long as it's still entertaining, it's still a magic trick. So I never carry a full deck of cards on me, which might sound mad as a magician because I just like my pocket's empty. So I literally have my phone, my wallet, and my keys usually on me if I'm out and about. So I've got something on my keys that I can always perform. I've got something in my wallet, and phones are brilliant as well in terms of doing magic. So I always have 1 or 2. They're called EDCs in the industry, everyday carries. So I always carry a few EDCs on me just in case anyone does say, "Oh, you're a magician. Oh, show me something." I can always just pull something out and just do something on the spot. Because there's nothing worse as a magician when someone says, "Oh, show me a trick." "Oh, I actually haven't got anything on me."
Yeah.
You're not a magician then, are you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you can always
got that to immediately fight back with.
Exactly. So
has anyone ever just handed you a deck of cards and then you've performed something?
Look, if I'm a magician and I don't carry a deck of cards, I don't know many people normally that will carry a deck on them.
No.
And what is always good though, in case that situation is, always know a trick that uses a deck of cards that you can just do. I could do something right now if you did have one. It'd be so if you did, do you?
Go on, show us a magic trick.
Okay. This is going to be so boring. I wasn't expecting this. Okay, so I'm going to give the cards a few shuffles like this.
Yeah. Make sure that camera can see.
So this is when you're a good magician because they're genuinely shuffled because they fall on the floor.
Okay.
Put that one up. Okay, one more time. Then shot you. Okay, so I'm going to put
the sound effect, but that's fine.
That's how the magic works. Okay, I'm going to put them there. All I want you to do is pick up as many cards as you like and put them into a new pile like that.
Okay, sure.
Okay, lovely. And we'll cut to we'll mark where you cut to just there.
Yeah.
Now you're happy. You could have picked up many more cards. You could picked up a lot less cards if you wanted.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to guess that your card that you stopped at is the 7 of diamonds. Remember, these cards were shuffled.
Okay.
I dropped some on the floor. This card that you cut to, if this is the 7 of diamonds, would that be magic?
Yes.
Okay, I'll tell you what, you take it off. I don't want to touch it.
This one here.
Yeah. That's where you cut to, turn it over. What card is that? The seven of diamonds. There you go.
That's awesome.
So, that's just such a simple trick that anyone can learn. You know, to be honest, I'm not really giving anything away. If, I showed how that was done. You can find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm not, I'm in the circle. I better be a bit good. I'll not tell you what it's called, how you do that. But if you watch that back, you'll probably see what happened and you'll probably be able to figure it out and do it yourself. Yeah. I'll not expose it just in case people don't want to know. But yeah, if you're not completely stupid, if you watch that back, you might see what I did and you might be able to do it. So there's a little something, bit of homework, give it a go. Why not? And
there you
put
go.
in the comments.
Put in the comments.
Don't expose how it's done, but just say, I figured it out. And it'd be interesting to see how many people figured out how it was done. Just as a little,
Say, Tom, I figured it out in the comments.
Watch out, I'm coming for your job.
I'm coming to the magic circle and having a word with you.
So, like we say, if someone does give you a deck of cards, always know a couple of tricks. To be honest, I should know more than what I do with a normal deck of cards. Yeah. Because I don't really do card magic. Because I find it...
Well, that's a close-up sort of thing.
Yeah.
And when you're performing in a holiday park, then, you're not going to have everyone being able to see.
No, exactly.
So I'll take your word for it.
And to be honest, I find card tricks a bit boring. I don't know if that's blasphemy as a magician, but
it's a sort of, as you say, it's like it's a bit of a staple, isn't it? You expected to know at least a handful of tricks.
Yeah, exactly. I like watching them, don't get me wrong. I like watching the odd one or two, especially if it fools me.
Yeah.
But it's just something about cards. There's only so much you can do.
Course,
I like using objects that are different in close up. I'll use things that you wouldn't expect to see, and again, just feel more natural. Like using a phone or keys, I don't know, whatever really. So just something that's different and people again can relate to a bit more is what I prefer when it comes to close-up magic or stage magic.
Good stuff.
But
fantastic. Awesome. So the fast five questions. So these are questions that I ask every guest on Any Business. First one I think you'll particularly like because the question is, if you had a TARDIS and you could go back in time and give yourself one piece of advice, what would you tell yourself?
I still suffer from it now, to be honest. And as of this week, when I'm performing a show, I will make a conscious effort every few sentences to say to myself, slow it down.
Yeah.
Because whenever I've done a show and I've had people that I've known for years, like my managers at the entertainment holiday parks, I went to do one that I've not done since I was a host there.
Yeah.
I went back to the park for the first time since going solo. And I did the show and I thought it went really well. My entertainment manager at the time came to me after the show, says, really good show, brilliant. Just slow down. I've always suffered from just speaking fast. I don't know if it's because I'm energetic, I'm excited about performing, but and when I watch footage of me back, I always speak so fast. I don't know if watching this back or to your viewers now, I'll be speaking at 100 miles an hour compared to what I think I am.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, just slow down. Slow down your presentation, slow down your script, and still keep the same energy and enthusiasm, but just slow your pace and build the moments of the reveal of the trick even more. Again, I've been guilty recently of just doing the structure of the trick because I know what I need to do, I know what I need to say.
Yeah.
And then I'll do the big reveal of whatever the trick is at the end, and it'll just be, and it's like you build that tension, have a few seconds.
Yeah.
Whereas now there's a trick that
It'll land differently, won't it?
Yeah, it does. It really hits because I have a trick where I've got a Rubik's Cube in a jar. And someone on the stage next to me is mixing another Rubik's Cube. And they're mixing it up. And I'm getting 3 numbers from people out there in the crowd. And in those 30 seconds that I've got those numbers, their job is to solve that Rubik's Cube in their hands, which obviously most have never solved a Rubik's Cube before when I ask them.
Yeah.
So I get it back up and they've not solved it. And the cube in the jar is unsolved as well. It's all mixed up.
Yeah.
And they give me the cube after they said, oh, no, I've not solved it. And I'm like, oh, not to worry. And I say, I think you have solved it. I think you have solved it, just not in the way that you think you were going to solve it. Before we started this, you had a 360-degree view of this cube that you've been trying to solve. But you also had a 360-degree view. And then I stop and look at the jar now and point. And then I say, of this cube in the jar that hasn't been touched until this point. Whereas before I'd say, you had a 360-degree view of this cube that you've been trying to solve, but you also had a 360-degree view of that cube in the jar. And just that little break of, you also had a 360-degree view. Because the audience then clock on to what's about to happen rather than you just telling them what's about to happen.
Yeah.
And just those tiny gaps make such a difference. And then you take the cube out of the jar and you put them side by side and you show that every side of the unmixed cube from the one in the jar matches her still unmixed one on that she's been trying to solve. So, all the mixed up colours match on one side, turn to the next side, and they all match on all 6 sides.
Yeah.
And it's just so much more impactful because you have that little gap.
Wow.
So, my advice if I had a TARDIS and I went back in time is just always remember, slow down more than you already think you are going at slow. Yeah. I don't know if that's just personally me that just naturally speaks fast.
I think that's great advice, yeah.
There might be performers that do just have that perfect tone and pace of scripting and narrative. But for me, I've always just spoken
I think
fast.
there's also a tendency, I think, it could be some advice to budding magicians. Yep. There can be... There's a tendency when doing any sort of performance, if you're nervous, that you tend to do things a lot faster.
Yep.
But sometimes that's not the case because you're more likely to do mistakes or whatnot. So, I think going slow and actually concentrate on the performance.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I had an experience in last night's show where I had to do a certain move halfway through speaking, and I couldn't do the thing that I needed to do, even though it was such a simple move. For whatever reason, my hands just, I don't know, whether sweaty or, whatever the case might have been. I couldn't do the move that I needed to do at the time.
Right.
So I just slowed it down again, and I just spoke more to the volunteer and, addressed the audience and misdirected from where my hands were, where the dirty work was going on, even though it was on stage in front of a room full of 100 plus people. Yeah. And I just kept talking to them. Eventually, I managed to do it. I reworked my hands, and I got there in the end. Yeah. But, it might be because you're trying to rush to do that certain move that it makes it look even more obvious what you're doing. Yeah. Whereas if you just keep your hands natural and just misdirect wherever you can at that point and just do what you need to do, just slow down and it just becomes more natural. Yeah. So that's my advice to myself.
Good stuff.
Slow down.
My advice to myself. What's your kryptonite? What would you say your biggest weakness is?
That's a good question. Yeah. Biggest weakness.
It doesn't have to be in your work, but like just something that
I would say procrastination.
Okay.
I'll do my week's run of shows, touring the parks, and then I'll know there's something that's happened that week or that's happened for the last few months that I want to change. For example, the show that I'm doing this year, I've been doing the same opener all year, but I've not been happy with it. It's not getting the reactions that it needs to get an audience on your side and engage. It does, but it could be better, basically. Yeah. Nothing's ever good enough. I suppose that's another weakness in my eyes.
You're a perfectionist at what you do.
Exactly, yeah. If you think your show's perfect, then something's wrong because nothing's ever perfect. There's always somewhere you can improve, in my opinion, anyway, But yeah, so I've been doing this opener for the whole year, and it goes, it does what it needs to do. It works. But I've always thought, I need to replace that. Something else needs to go there. And that, as of this week, I've worked out the opener, which I think will be really, really good and really nice. It's visual, it's engaging, it's only a couple of minutes, so it gets them to know who you are, it shows your skill level. But part of what I'm doing in this new opener is what I do at the finale currently of the show.
All right, okay.
So now I've had to rework a new finale, which I'll be starting as of end of this week when I get home and get the props that I've needed to get for this finale. Yeah. But so my weakness, I suppose, is procrastination, because when I know I've got stuff to do, like a new opener or a new finale, I'll get home after my week's run and I'll get on the PlayStation because I'm a gamer and, I'll start playing that. I'll be catching up on telly. Yeah. I'm like, one more episode. I'll do one more game. Yeah. And then by the end of the day, you're like, the hours have gone. I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah. And I suppose that's a big weakness for a lot of people. Yeah. Just self-procrastination is my weakness. But it is good to have downtime as well.
Of course.
But
you need
obviously, try and limit where you can. Yeah. I think that's where I fall. I just tend to relax a bit more than I could when I could be using that time, just a few hours a day just to get those things done and practice and rehearse and get the moves down. So I would say procrastination.
You talked a little bit about TV there, but I'm going to ask the next question. What's your favourite film?
Oh, I always think myself this question. I never know the answer. One that always comes to mind, I suppose, is Spider-Man No Way Home. Okay. Just because I think it was so hyped up of having Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back, and it was all rumours and leaks and the pictures that got leaked, and we didn't know if it was true or not. And when it came out and it was revealed that it was true, I don't know, I just really liked the film.
Satisfying moment.
Yeah, I just think it was a really good film. I'm sure there's other examples, films that I really like, but I tend not to watch them too much because if I watch a film too much, I'll get bored of it. Yeah. Matilda, the musical, the film version that came out, I was really hyped for that when it came out. And I think I've only watched it twice since it came out again because I don't want to ruin that experience.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big fan of musicals as well. But I would say the one film that always comes to my mind is Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Good choice.
I like
Good
superheroes.
choice. Well, speaking of,
Oh.
there's a lot of connection going on
Good
here.
links.
If you could have any superhero power, what would you have?
It might sound cliche, but I would probably say flight.
Okay.
Just because I could get around places quicker. Yeah, don't know. I think it'd be cool to see the world from a different perspective.
Awesome.
Yeah, flight. There you go.
Good one.
That's a
Nice
good
one. And the most important question. Where can people find you on social media?
So, it's the same title under everything, mainly Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. That's the universal symbol.
The squiggle.
The squiggle, yeah. At Tricksy Tom Magician. So that's Try. I can't even spell my own name.
Yeah.
Tricksy, like a magic trick.
Yeah.
Trick and then SY and then Tricksy, not the girl's name with an XIE,
Yeah.
which some people have thought I was in the past. Don't know why. Because I originally was going to go Tricky Tom Magician.
Yeah. But then you get like, Tricky can have some negative.
Sounds like,
things,
it might be a bit awkward to work with Tricky. But the main reason was when I Googled for website domains, I put Tricky Tom Magician, it got redirected to someone else's website. So I thought, well, they bought the domain, I can't have that.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, Tricksy sounds a bit more kiddie because at that point, when I left the holiday parks to go solo, I knew I was going to have to do kids' parties as well, just because I didn't know how well the holiday park touring was going to go solo at that point.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have an agent and all this. So yeah, I thought, just go Tricksy Tom, and that was available. And that's what I've just gone with. So yeah, at Tricksy Tom Magician. And then the website is www.tricksytom.com. So get rid of the magician, tricksytom.com. There you go.
That was the most upbeat version of saying a website I've ever heard.
Yeah, you got to be excited about your brand. So yeah, that's where you can go to book me on the contact page if you're interested in booking me. There's some videos and pictures on their previous work.
Amazing.
I'm always trying to update, and that's another thing with the procrastination thing. For ages, I've been thinking, I need to film more videos for my Facebook and TikTok, and I just end up chilling at home and never get around to it. So yeah, but yeah, there are videos up there, so check them out and see what you like.
Keep an eye on it because we're keeping him accountable to updating his website now.
I know, I've committed to it, haven't I?
Awesome. No, thank you very much, Tom, for being a part of this episode.
Thank you for having me.
If you would like to find out more about any business, you can follow us on social media at NEBiznis. And with that comes with a conclusion to this season. Well, the first season of NEBiznis. So
Ooh, let's get to the rap party.
So that's the season finale. If you want to find out more about Tom's also guest starring on the new season of the Quiffcast, which will be coming out very shortly after this season's finished.
Exciting.
So yeah, more podcasts to come with this boy over here. Still wish camera to look at.
I'm not used to these multi-cam setups. I was like, hello, I usually have one camera that I film to. So I'm like, which one do I go to?
Camera's good on.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for joining us
Thank
today.
you.
And remember, if you have any business, that's our business.